Patricia, taking a look at our PlayStation 5 at a deeper level today. Warranty seal is intact. We did develop a fair bit of dust again, but we'll go ahead and dust out the system. Broke down our system to the power supply. I am most curious to see here if we're able to get the specified voltage from the power supply, which is 12 volts. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Well, and we do. Get 12 volts on both sides, so that's a little discouraging, honestly. That does kind of mean that we might be dealing with something here on the motherboard. Have a pretty open setup here. I have our system plugged in. I just want to see if there's anything obvious. I do have a thermal reflection here on this capacitor. So I'm going to take a measurement of that here in a second. Just powering on. Trying to see if we can get anything to change. We did get some heat from this chip. And this chip here is going to be your SSD controller. That's basically what controls all the data that goes to all the other parts of your system. Yeah. And we've got something else going on here on the other side. So I'm going to take a look at this little capacitor here because that doesn't seem normal to me. And we'll keep taking measurements, but you got a couple of areas. This area of the board is getting quite warm. The SSD controller is getting quite warm. Capacitor here is getting quite warm. Okay, now we have no power on the board. I went ahead and turn it off. You can see that with no power, that area is cold, so it's not a reflection. And I've got continuity mode here. And I'm getting a short across these capacitors here. And for a capacitor, for the most part, I shouldn't be getting a short. I'm just going to switch over to ohm. Farad. Okay, there we are, ohms. 4.4 across the leads. 5.4, so that's a dead short across that cap. So I don't think that's normal. And I think it's concerning that this chip here is getting hot. So I think we're going to have to dive in deeper with some deeper diagnostics if we are going to get this one up and running again. Just going to apply power again. And once I did, that same component there is getting hot, as is our chip there. I really don't think that's normal there. So hopefully that's just something like a bad capacitor. So that's the first thing to try, is maybe just removing that and replacing it, seeing if that makes a difference, if it is a short. And then if not, we do have a couple other areas on the board that are getting warm. And I think we're going to have to do something I haven't done too much, which would be use a program called UART to help decode us what's kind of going on at a deeper diagnostic level of the system. I don't think it's normal that chips are just kind of warm like that. It usually indicates a short circuit underneath them. I can't guarantee that's what it is or isn't. I do know that cap right there getting hot is kind of weird though. So anyways, I'm going to go in and reach back out to you guys with this. Unfortunately, we are going to have to dive deeper with diagnostics, and we'll see what you guys want to do. Power supply is out. This is a clear indicator of a motherboard problem. This is your positive and negative pin for the main power in. And Sorry, give me a moment. I was getting a dead short on there a second ago. There's a coating on top of this that makes it... Whoa. It's got a weird hissing sound off of this board. I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, that's like trying to shock us a little bit. I don't have anything powered in. That's just probably these capacitors in here somewhere discharging. I'll be honest with you, I've never seen that. Okay, something weird is happening when I'm doing that with that line. Okay, let me put thermal cam back on. It wants me to charge my battery. That's convenient. Okay, let me deal with that in a second. Again, there isn't any power on that board. Just hearing this hiss whenever I'm connecting. Trying to see if there's anything that's lighting up. Well, there's that short circuit I was telling you about. So those two lines should not be connected. I'm not getting that hiss anymore. I was just trying to see if there's a capacitor discharging or something that would give me a clue, but I think that capacitor there is definitely a clue, so let's try that first. Alright, move that capacitor off axis just so it can't complete the circuit across this joint again. And now we're going to clean this up a little bit and we'll see if this makes a difference. Cleaned up enough for what we need. Okay, so taking another reading in continuity mode. That would be a short circuit. We had one earlier. Looks like we might still have one. Is that right? This is just a capacitor charging again. We definitely had a short across these components. And that's gone now. So remember how there used to be a indefinite beep here? So this capacitor is definitely bad. That is 100% a problem. See how that capacitor beeps like that? It's not supposed to. See how these ones don't? So that was then indeed part of the problem. My fear though is because that failed, it might have done something to something else. So, well, yeah, it's just really tough to get an accurate reading on this thing because of that coating. Although I'm just not thinking, I guess I could just do it from here. It might be good. Let me go ahead and put this back together for testing. We're going to try and power on again because we definitely found one problem. And I'm hoping that's our only problem. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. That's a much longer power on than we've had before. And I actually have a decent amount of hope. Oh, there you go. You had a failed capacitor on your board. Let me connect the controller, make sure we're good. Sorry, this controller has stick drift. Those are our counts. And we're back up. Okay, yeah, 100%. Looks like we're back up and in. I didn't sign into anyone's account. This is just a guest account here. I think I am going to get this cleaned up a bit again. Reassembled. We'll go ahead and write you a better estimate now I know exactly what's going on. Honestly, all I really did was just move that capacitor over. You had a failed capacitor. I don't think I'm going to replace it because I don't know the value. And the other side of this is I don't trust trying to read that value because it's broken. I don't have another board to test and find out. They don't release schematics from PlayStation My guess here is that this is for smoothing and regulation of your power lines. Not necessary, but helpful. If you really want me to replace that, we can take a look into that. However, I think you might be perfectly fine without it. I have to use the word I think because I don't actually know. I didn't engineer this motherboard, and there's nothing out there that's going to tell me what it's for. I can kind of only take a guess based off of its location, and quite honestly, it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. If it was closer to some of the other components, I'd have a better shot at guessing. So anyways, let me know what you think. I'll go ahead and write out an estimate, and we'll go from there.